Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker. You used to go by one who parks on Discord. I think I might go back to that, actually.
Well, not after you said it like that, you're not. That's not how you go back. This is Jeremy. I go by just Jeremy on Discord, and I'm also not good at craps.
This is Aaron. I go by Treffenwood on Discord.
And welcome back to another riveting episode of Infamous. Quick announcements. Jeremy, I have some good news.
What's that?
For the first time ever on our podcast, someone has worked off all of their probationary episodes.
Yes!
Good job.
Hey, look
Thank
at you.
Whee!
See how easy it is?
I'm right behind you.
Damn. I feel like
Right
I'm just
behind
born.
In unrelated news, Parker, you're down to 2,590 probationary episodes.
Wasn't he at like 8,000 though? Like, doesn't I feel
No,
like
he's never officially broken 3,000, which is why he still has hair. We're working towards it though. Don't worry, Shocker's going to put it over the edge. I feel it.
I will be vindicated, and I'm just going to... When I am vindicated, when it does happen, I'm going to hold on to that my entire life. That and my other thousands of probationary episodes. All both of those things.
the remaining.
Yeah.
Don't worry, today might be pretty bad for Parker. We'll see.
Yeah. Yes. I am... let's just say I am stretched. I am prepared for my beating today.
You're stretched. Did you sit on a traffic cone today?
I am stretched. Yeah, I need to be limber for this terrible beating. Here we go.
Okay. Alrighty. Parker, what's next?
News?
News.
News. Oh, news. Okay, news.
Hey,
news! Yes. News!
So, we do actually have some news this week, and it comes in the form of our second favorite time traveling mutant. The first one, of course, being Cable. The second favorite time traveling mutant is Bishop, and Bishop is now revealed. We got a panel to play with him, and we're excited to share about some. So, for those of you who have not yet seen Bishop, he is a 4-pointer. He's kind of interesting because he's going to be a medium base, medium move. He has his defensive line is 3, 4, 3, 6 health on the front side, 5 on the back. Otherwise, he's identical on both sides. He's a size 2 model. His attacks are firstly the XSE Blaster. His future blaster is an energy one, range 4, got 5 dice. It gains power for all damage, and if the target character is within 3 of him when he does it, then the target gains Incinerate automatically. So it's a range 4, but if they are within 3, you also get incinerated. Return with Interest is his spender. It's area 2, 7 dice base, but he can pump it by adding extra dice up to 3. So he can go up to 10 if he's willing to spend 8 power. It costs a base of 5 power. He can choose whether or not it's a physical, energy, or mystical attack when he does it. It has a wild Extreme Force, which pushes away the target character short and gives them slow. You guys want to stop and talk about attacks before we go into powers? Or you want to just... the whole kit?
No, let's go ahead and get through it.
Okay. He has a terrain or character throw size 4 or less within 2, medium, for 3 power. He has Mutant Energy Absorption, which is the all-encompassing version of something we see on things like Carol and Doctor Strange. If he's attacked with any kind of attack roll, so it doesn't matter what kind, for every wild in his defense, he can cancel crits, wilds, or hits. He turns them into blanks, effectively removing them from the pool. And then he also gains 1 power for each dice change this way. He also has a passive ability called Overload. It's a detriment to them, actually. At the start of the power phase, if he has 8 or more power, he takes a damage. Only 1 damage, so if he has 10 power, he still only suffers 1 damage. But if he has 8 or more at the start of the power phase, he's immune to Incinerate, Poison, and Stun.
Alright, so he's terrible. Let's move on.
Got my corner.
He's not really terrible. I didn't realize that his energy absorption was any attack. I thought it was energy attacks. I just assumed.
Yep, it is. It's the
that's
first
a
one
really good ability. Him only having 3 dice kind of tempers that a bit. But obviously he's in a faction with potentially Kitty and Cable, so he's got access to more dice. Also, Storm could let him reroll one of his dice.
It's a weird one because when you do
I
the
don't think
math
he's
over the
terrible.
when you do his math over the long term, though, the point of the absorption that feels so good is you're gaining power for not taking damage, right?
Mhm.
That's like the amazing way that, in terms of economy, it's fantastic. Anybody who's played
Yeah.
a lot of Captain Marvel or Doctor Strange will tell you it just feels so ball busting when you start running
Yeah.
wilds. However, he does eventually take that damage back if he actually starts blocking a lot.
Really don't think that's that big of a deal.
I think it is, and the reason why is if he can easily get to 8 power and not be able to spend it very easily. He can spend it down pretty hard in big chunks if he gets to activate. But if he doesn't get to activate, meaning if he activates early, for example, and he pops off with mutant absorption a couple times, if he did any damage with his basic attack, he could be to 8 damage really fast. 8 power very fast. And that means that at least one of those damages you magic blocked with your wild now turns back into damage, which hurts that economy. I think it's interesting that they gave him the passive.
But with that in mind, it literally just means the superpower says gain a power.
Right, because you still get a power for damage. Yeah, it's still a power
for
damage.
So I prevent a damage, I gain a power, and then later I take the damage again.
Maybe.
But I had the opportunity to spend the power potentially.
Yeah, if you
also, if you're that worried about it, you could just do things to like take the power off him or something. Like you could play tactics card with him or something. Like there's stuff you theoretically could do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think worst case scenario, it's not that bad. The real catastrophic thing would be you get dazed in the power phase.
Yeah.
But that's pretty easy to see coming, and you can kind of like line it up to where it doesn't happen.
I don't know about that. I mean, you've played Dormammu enough to know it's not.
Problem with Dormammu is it happens way more often, and it's on all of your models, not one of your models. Like that's a real big difference. That because it's so much harder to get a specific model to stop at 1 hit point. Also, the energy absorption is a May. You don't have to use it if you're that worried about it.
That's true.
Just don't do it.
But you still get a power, and you still take an extra damage. So
that's my point. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, if you're specifically worried about getting dazed in the power phase, you say, I don't use it. Like, I'll get dazed now. It's the same damage either way. Yeah, you just don't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and now, don't get me wrong, there's still times it could happen.
He's a 4 threat that can throw size 4s. Medium.
That's really all we're talking about. Yeah.
I mean, that's
the only thing about this character we're really having a conversation about, if you ask me. Everything else about him is behind the curve. Yeah. Now, if you think about, like, Parker's like, well, you gotta be able to spend power. It's like, he can spend 19 power in a turn. Like, he can get rid of his power.
Spend up to 3. Yeah, he's got that laser thing, the area.
I guess I don't like that he has 4 power. He commonly, not always, but he commonly will have 4 damage on his backside, and if your opponent has priority and Bishop's on his backside, he automatically takes the damage on his backside, and now he's got 4 health. Your opponent might just remove him. Now, if he rolls a couple wilds at his defense, then he doesn't remove him, and Bishop makes him pay hard for that commitment. But when he only has 5 health on his backside, he'll likely wake up on the backside with 8 or more power. It's likely.
It's likely if he flips, he's gonna not have power, but because he's squishy, in my opinion, you could very easily like live with a couple health, activate him, dump it, and then get dazed and not go to 8. It's just again less likely.
Right. I think that one of the things about this character is it'll be really interesting to play with him and against him and consider that tempo. There are things like you mentioned, like MODOK 2, for example, can take his power off of him and never have to worry about overload. There are things like that you can do.
It's also bodyguards. Like, you don't have to like just sit there and do nothing. Like there's like synergies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but I think I guess one of my issues I had with him as a character is how many other characters and other tactics am I investing to make Bishop work when Bishop is not anything special besides the mutant energy absorption. That's the problem I have with him, I guess.
It's the size 4 throw. That's all it is.
But there are lots of characters that can size 4 throw. So
both types for 3 power.
There's only
pretty
handful.
Good. Yeah, it's like Hulk and Thor.
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill can.
Yeah, he's not. Well, I think he is the Beta Ray Bill for X-Force and X-Men. That's what he will kind of be.
wouldn't be surprised if Beta Ray Bill's getting changed. So
I'll be shocked if Beta Ray Bill gets changed.
ever,
yeah, I think
like enough to bet.
I think they have. I don't know. I don't know how, because there's nothing. I don't know what is on his card. I guess the throw that you would change about him, I guess, is what you would change, because people.
I actually think they would change his power generation.
You really think that?
An Asgardian. I think that's the way to fix him.
I don't think they would do it for fluff reasons. I don't think they care that much. I think
he should be able to throw
the fact that he's an Asgardian.
size 3. The size 4 is silly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the whole package is why he's so good, because he does everything, right? But it's whatever.
So the models that can throw size 4, unrestricted both, are Beta Ray Bill, Bishop, Black Dwarf, and Captain Marvel. Sorry, the 4 threats that can do that.
Yeah.
I personally look at Bishop and I see a fine attack, a decent spender, a great throw, all on a very, very
3-point
squishy chassis, and a very unreliable yet potentially incredible defensive shtick.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's really going to be about, like, you adding dice to his defense roll is really what it's going to be about.
So you're going to take him with Kitty Pryde and Cable and Steve 1, and you're going to do these things. So I'm with Parker here. How much do I want to shine Bishop? Like, he doesn't have any action economy and no mods. Like, what am I shining? If I need a turret to protect, I'll fucking bring in Scarlet Witch. Or someone else. Like, pick your favorite turret. I don't know. I am, from a card reading only, relatively down on the competitive viability of Bishop.
I don't know if I want to make this like a go around the table topic or just a question. So I'll say flat out that my favorite thing about Bishop is that this is a sign that we're not just going through a period of power creep, and that it is simply some outlier models that we've gotten lately. So if this is what they envision 4-point models being moving forward, I'm happy with that.
I agree with you.
This is my statement.
Yes.
Now, am I sad that one of my favorite X-Men character, Bishop, was like the shining example of slightly under the curve? Maybe not. But I think this is I agree with the devs if that's where they think 4-pointers should be. And so
if they wanted to bring all 4-pointers back to this, I'd be all for it, man.
I totally agree. So for me, that's promising. And maybe they'll do it through their timeline style event where they just they start cycling the game because they don't want to go back and change everything. And that would be sad. Maybe they'll just adjust the outliers and we'll just every 6 months we'll get an update to bring things back down to this line. But I doubt that will happen either. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But I think this is a promising example of what might be coming. But at the same time, if we get Professor X and he's pushed to the gills, we're like, okay, they just don't know what they're doing. But I like to believe that they do, and that this is an example of what we should expect.
That was actually the last thing I said about him on the original Discord conversation, which was if the biggest problem with this guy is that he's balanced around some fair rules, that's good? Question mark, right? Like, why? I'm not upset about it at all. I don't even.
I need my 4-pointers to be able to have range 3 with place and also built-in rerolls. Without that, I feel...
I need my 4-pointers to be immune to attacks, have range 3, auto-place every time they spend an action, throw up to size 3, and have 7 dice pierce attacks that bleed and build. And then also
can I interest you?
Beam attacks that are 9 dice pierce that also places... And, I don't know, throw on some more defensive rules on there and give him a crazy good stat line. All right, something like that, maybe.
Something like that.
Oh, but make him have this really small negative effect that basically never matters. This is how stupid that is.
Wait, Brandon, I might have the model for you then.
Bishop's negative is literally worse than Logan's negative. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, please fix the obviously broken models. Like... Or just say you're sorry.
Just say you're sorry.
Either one. Just why you say you're sorry. It's like Seinfeld with the tiny shirt. It's like, just admit you shrunk it. Like, just admit it. Like, admit you pushed Logan. Just admit it. Anyway, yeah, I'm happy with Bishop. Could he have been a little bit better? Maybe, but he's really just 4-point Cable, and he's also, turns out in the comics, he's just 4-point Cable there too.
Exactly.
So we can move on. All right, moving on to con wrap up. So I guess we'll start with Aaron. So Aaron, how did your con go? Do you want to walk us through some of your events? Like starting with what was it? Thursday first day of games? Friday first day of games?
It was Friday first day of games. We got there on Thursday and they didn't have they started to have a couple things set up, but they were still going through the getting all the tables set up, and we don't want to mess with that too much. So we just hung out Thursday night. Friday I played Judgment. I won't go into any of that at all. And then Saturday was the main invitational. So unlike last year where I did MCP for the entire thing, I split my focus, which was great to have different things to do, but also meant I didn't just get to hang out with a lot of the cool kids in the community. And I mean that sincerely. Chatting with them all. But I did with the Judgment community. So it's just weird, like when you're kind of splitting focus, like with your go to family vacation and there's your family and the in-laws, and you feel like you get to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Never mind.
Jeremy, did you do anything Friday?
Yes, I did. Being that our area, for all of our events, tends to draw every fucking shark in the water, having to dig through, I can't win multiple events like Aaron, and just toss them aside like they're Parker demerits, whatever. But so I had to get into the last chance qualifier and swim upstream. I played all day Friday. Yes, that was what happened.
Do you have any highlights or shout outs you want to make?
I do. I'm looking for my let's see here, my events, this thing, show games. Okay, so I'll just go through really quick kind of what happened. Quick synopsis is I played 5 really good games, one of which from Nick Cora. He was playing Hellfire Club, and locally we don't really do much of that, of Hellfire Club. I kind of understand the concept, play the best models in the game and just kind of run circles around a D or an F, whichever one you pull. He pulled Scoundrels and I pulled Alien Ship, and I tell you, it was tough. I had to try and kill his models with I was using Guardians of the Galaxy and doing my best to kill them, and he was just faster than I was and played his list better than I played mine. So he did take that win. That was my game 2. First game was against Eric. I played Web Warriors, which unfortunately for Eric, we have a ton of Web Warrior players in the area. So I played that matchup a lot. Won 17-16, and we were playing Spider Infected and Demons Downtown. So I was pretty proud of myself from pulling that out.
Nice. Yeah, that's something to be proud of.
17-16. So that was a really good game, though. That was, as the first game of the day, I was super happy to have a good opponent and a good time. Like I say, I lost my second game to Nick. My third game, since I lost one, I was like, you know what? It's time for some Black Order, Thanos, and Black Bolt. It was Thanos, Black Bolt, and CGR. He played some Hydra. I tabled him, and it was like really, really, really unfortunate. He rolled terrible too, so it was just a combo of him rolling bad,
Pain Train,
yeah, and me rolling average to good.
Pain Train is undefeated. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah. So, and I mean, look, he has hammers in his list, and I'll tell you every single day of the week that every one of us put Thanos in our list for nothing, sometimes more than you done messed up and put hammers in there. And if you don't have a Thanos, it's usually pretty bad. So that's what happened. Grabbed 2 hammers and just went about beating him up. Next one, played against Matt. Matt played some Avengers, and he played A-Force. He played a She-Hulk on me, and my list is really good against She-Hulk. I controlled her completely off the board with basically Bill. The rest of my list killed what I needed to and just kind of took him apart. He didn't stay in a nasty ball of hate. He kind of tried to spread the table. So it just didn't work out. Another good guy, though. It was a great game. Now, the shout out comes for Nick E. So we had played our 4 games. We're walking around, and I was wearing our podcast shirt. A few people came up to me, probably once or twice between games here and there, and this was kind of the end of the day. We had one more game left, and Nick comes up, man, listen to your podcast, love you guys, awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm like, high five and shake and all that stuff. Cool, that's great, man, awesome. Glad to hear from you. Keep listening. Excellent. I went to table 7. 4 minutes later, Nick shows up, and I'm like, oh shit. So we were just kind of laughing about that and talking, and he was like, well, I know what you're doing, and I know what I'm doing, and he ended up playing Convocation, and it was a murder Convocation list. So the one model he had in there that was quite an anomaly, and it really caused a lot of trouble, was Ultron 2.
Yeah.
So he basically landed Ultron 2 in the center of the board. I killed everything he had, but because you can't really control Ultron 2 with CGR, and he had his grunts all the time, so I had to make sure to kill those every single turn, and he got his books and all that stuff. I made one critical error, which was he had grunts and I didn't. I counted his models. I said I'm going to pass, and I immediately lost the game on turn 2 when I did that. I lost priority for 1 turn, and because he was playing Strange 2, he punished the shit out of me for it. Yeah. And so in my mind,
really has to get prio.
Yeah. So in my mind, I played 5 games. I lost one of them. I got outplayed, and I lost that one because I did something boneheaded. But won't blame dice for any of it. I had a great series of games. I didn't find myself in any spots where I was really frustrated or anything. Things just happened. Played some good, solid, as they call the fair MCP, I guess, even though I was using, CGR and Thanos or whatever.
Well, yeah, you don't have the unfun time. Your opponents do.
Exactly. I think we all had a good time. I think everybody knew what was happening, so they had their own tools and their own things. Nobody was shocked by my list whatsoever, which my list resembles a lot of what ended up winning, which there was plenty of my lists running around. And that was kind of my MCP for the entire weekend. Yep, that was Friday.
Cool. All right, so we will move into Saturday. Jeremy, what did you do on Saturday?
So Saturday, I had planned on playing Judgment all day. I was like, okay, I'll play in this 5x5 Judgment thing. And it turns out that they released the schedule very late. So I get there, and it's the CEO of the company that makes the models for Judgment. So I got to play games all day with the CEO of Creature Caster. Playing Judgment. So that was win-win for me. I'll take it.
Did you crush him?
I think he let me win a couple. It was one of those we went back and forth, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those like, you did real good, kid. I'm like, yay! And then I realized, kind of as Aaron did, where we're like, I think we got fucking fooled here. I think this guy gave it to us. But dude, the guy's so fun. Like, just such a good guy. I'd be glad to play him anytime. And also on that day, because it was so, we played a game, Judgment, and then I wandered around to see how everybody was doing, grabbed lunch and stuff. Like, I just checked on everybody, had conversations, and then talked to Infamous fans kind of every single day. So I had a good time that day.
Alrighty. Aaron, how did your Saturday start off?
Started off pretty shittily.
Big oof.
So, as listeners probably know, I did take my my random Thanos list.
You mean your X-Force list?
Yes.
Random Thanos. That's
Thanos.
strategically applied tactical Thanos.
You're not wrong. So with this list, I really wanted to brawl, right? Like that's all this list wants to do. Period. I really thought I had a chance into Guardians, so I wasn't too scared of them, but I was super scared of the wide teams, the Sam Vengers, Hellfire, Webs. And so that's why my last 3 characters were Storm, Cable, and I forget the Psylocke. Like specifically to deal with those wide lists, and Psylocke for Webs specifically. So I get the first round paired into Hyper Viper playing Hellfire. Pretty standard Hellfire club. Like, people are like, what do you think he's going to drop? Like, I fucking know exactly what he's going to drop. It's, Emma, Bill, Rhino, Cat, plus threat to match. We drop Hammers Extremis. At 18, he drops Miles. So he's got 3 Steelers, a bunch of DR survival models. So into this list, I should have dropped X-Men or X-Force. But I didn't come here to play X-Men or X-Force. So, Thanos, come on the table. Grab some hammers and see what you can do. So it was a bad drop decision into a good player playing a top-tier list. I knew that as soon as we'd put the models down, and so I was going to need dice to swing my way early. They did not. Logan failed to kill Cat on 2 separate activations. I left Bill on 1 health twice, like the typical, I needed dice and they didn't happen. Hyper did not make any mistakes. He played a super solid game of just pure control. So I lost game 1. Like, okay. I made 1 mistake turn 1. I won't get into it. It was just, lack of familiarity and planning with the list, but nothing that I think lost me the game. Just set me back a little bit. But overall, I was pretty happy with what I did. It was a horrible matchup. Let's put it that way. Second round, I'm like, okay, all I want is no more fucking Hellfire, right? You think the gods answer my prayer, Parker?
I hope not.
No.
Karma's a bitch.
No, they did not. Yeah,
Karma's a bitch.
Get paired into Hellfire again. This was Scrolls and Meteors. I was much happier with the Meteors drop here. So I was like, yeah, we can do this. We can play some Thanos. So I did, and I just got bodied. I just got attritioned off the board. I think in this matchup, I had my injured, Death Decreed, not injured, but Death Decreed Master Swordsman Zemo attack do 0 damage. Yeah, like 3 of them. And this game was just a horrible dicing. Black Panther Mantle 1 damage, with the Death Decree on top of it. It was just, I did shit all. So this is the game. I think, no offense to my opponent, Rob, I think I could have won this game had dice been average, but they weren't. Newsflash, I got comeuppance later. So I'm not going to bitch about dice. I'm playing an attrition list. I'm leaning into dice. The dice are as good as I can make them with extra dice and reroll any. But sometimes, Quad Skull was what Zemo rolled. He rolled Quad Skull on the Master Swordsman attack. Sometimes it's going to happen, and it happened in that game, and that contributed to the loss. So here I am 0-2 after double Hellfire. I go into round 3. I draw Shield, playing Nick Fury only. Montesian Intrusions, and I'm like, okay, Thanos, ride or die, man, let's go. So he ends up playing 6-wide Shield into my 4-wide, I think, Thanos Death's team. And I tabled him, I think, early on round 5. It was ugly. He went and he picked up Mike Montesi's and was sitting on Intrusions, and I just didn't give a shit. I'm like, okay, I'm just coming straight for your characters. I'm just going to kill this one and then kill that one and do exactly what the list is supposed to do, and it performed very well. So he's playing Shield. He's trying to kill me. There aren't a lot of points on the board. And I just, again, dice came back. And Rocky was a great opponent. He took it really well. But the dice just swung back my way, and I ended up 1-2 having rode Thanos all day long.
So did you stop there?
It was a 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday.
That's right. They split it up. They split it up this year. That's right.
Well, they split up last year, too. It was always 3 and 3.
It was always split.
Yeah. Long breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, long breaks. They're basically doing 4-hour rounds.
Got it.
Because it's like 2.5 hours plus hour break.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which I didn't appreciate during my tournament that I had to do. The 5 rounds in one day, there was like no breaks. Like there was games where I'm still trying to pick up tokens, and like the clocks need to be started in 2 minutes. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
There's definitely a middle ground. I think like 15 to 30 minutes in between each round would be great, because a lot of games don't go to time, and so if you finish your game in like 45 minutes to an hour, well, there's almost 2 hours left in the round. Then there's another hour break. It's like, dude, I got 3 hours. Like I can play 2 games in that time period. Like it's a little excessive. I appreciate it, and it is a long way if you want to walk to your room. So like it's like a 30-minute round trip at least, probably more like 40-minute round trip. And so like I get it. Like you need time if you're going to go somewhere, because it's so far off on its own in the convention center. But yeah, I think it's a little excessive.
Yep. I mean, there's still plenty of time in the day. When we got done, I got 3 games of Judgment in, so I
Yeah.
still got 6 games on Saturday
I
total.
mean, hell, you could almost set up a judgment table like next to the tournament and play right there. Like, it's like, let's play a game in between each round.
Yeah, if they had the space, that'd be great.
Mm. So, what did you guys do Saturday night? Being the party animal, nightlife loving friends that you are.
We game till midnight.
Nice.
Yeah, we were in the room. They started locking doors on our ass. I was like, "Are we stuck here?" But that's what we did. I went and blew a good amount of money that day as well, because again, everybody else is playing games, and I'm in between. Like, I felt bad. Like, Peter, you want to play another game? You want to play another game? I'm like, no. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go out here for a little bit, check out my friends and stuff, and go waste some money, and then I'll be back in a little bit. And I'd come back, and sure enough, he was showing a demo or something, but we just kept playing.
Cool. Alrighty. Sunday. What'd you do on Sunday, Jeremy? Other than throw your wallet across the sports betting desk.
Essentially, yes. First thing I did was I made sure to get a bet in for the Kansas City Chiefs, which they paid off yet again.
Boom roasted.
Yeah. And I just continued playing some Judgment and then keeping an eye on what was going on with Kenny and Aaron.
Cool. All right, Aaron, what was going on with you?
So round 1, I drew my second Shield player, Ron Tolentino. He was only playing Invincible Iron Man. So interesting. I played Hellfire back-to-back, then Shield back-to-back. And each of the Shield players had only one of the leaders, period dot. So we ended up pulling Hammers and Scoundrels. And I really, really wanted to play Thanos on Scoundrels with Hammers, but ended up not. Because I saw 9 points on the board, and the only way to go 5 wide was to play Nebula Rocket. And I didn't have enough scoring people, right? I'm like, So I dropped Cable, realizing Cable was only here to play in X-Men. I don't have Cat and Mouse. This was not an X-Force list, but I'm like, technically I have Cable, Psylocke, and 23. What if I add like Logan and Panther, or Logan and Zemo, I think is what it was, to the list? Turns out Cable's really good on Scoundrels because he leadership ignores cover. Logan picked up a hammer. I was really aggressive. I picked up both side hammers and just let him shoot me. And then the next turn, I just builder with Logan and then spender with Logan through his entire team. So he's got 4 people on his back left point dealing with Logan. He kills me, picks up the hammer, but the rest of my team clears up his other 2 people and just scores the game out pretty easily, 16-12. So way to go, Cable, stepping up when Thanos decided it wasn't his time.
I mean,
So
X-Force carried you through the game. That's
basically, yes. Cable put me on his shoulders and dragged me through the gauntlet. You are correct.
I can't remember. Didn't Jeremy say he would not have any respect for you if you ever played Affiliated again?
You can see it in his eyes right now.
Or Thanos. And that's exclusively what you did?
He broke several rules of engagement.
Yeah. Well, I interpret it as a post-invitational rules of engagement. So
interesting.
We'll see.
Somehow,
interesting how you took it upon yourself to interpret that.
I did.
Okay.
Game 5,
1 and 3, 1 and 2. You were okay.
What we did here was we got back to 500, though, right?
We did. We're now 2 and 2.
We got back to 500. All right.
Yep. So competition's heating up, right? People are 2 and 2. They really want to finish. Most of the people who are 2 and 2 are like, I just need to finish 500 now. So there's a lot of impetus to win that 5th game, because then they can guarantee take the 6th game off. Doesn't really matter. But anyway, so I draw into Guardians, standard Guardian roster, with Legacy Virus and Meteors. I'm like, okay, Thanos, Cable had his time to shine, but you're back. And for the first time, I got 17, so I got to play my Dream Squad. Right. Thanos, Panther, Nebula, Zemo. I throw Nebula forward as bait, kinda. I don't want him to take it, but he does. Behind a building, so he has to spend all 3 power on Ghost Rider to place, but he gets her. I respond by kidnapping Agent Venom and dazing him. So we trade my 2 for his 4. Although my 2 hits like a 5. So I
was going to say.
I was like, just give me 1 attack with her on her day side, please. He did not. But the mistake I think he made was he went wide with both Star-Lord on my right and Venom on my left to pick up the viruses. And if I know anything by playing this list, it's I do not give two shits about the score. Like, we're just going to murder your ass. And so I was able to focus. I get first Venom and then CGR. So here's a question for you, Brandon and Parker. Jeremy knows the answer. So CGR dazes Black Panther with a spender. Top of 3. I put him in the ground. Maybe this was turn 2. I think I put him in the dirt. He probably spenders turn 2, and I put him in the dirt with my team.
His CGR. That's
his CGR.
Okay.
Because he dazed my Panther, I now have Prio. And this is why I think this type of squad can work well into a CGR Guardians meta, is because I can match how tall they go. So as soon as he dazes someone, I get to go next. So I daze his CGR on turn 2, and I have Prio top of 3. I either have, with 10 power, Thanos or Zemo, who's been flipped. Oh yeah, that's right. He flipped my Zemo.
Your question is who's better at killing the CGR?
Do I go with Thanos, who can double spender with the reality gem, or do I go with Zemo for the Master Swordsman?
Close as Zemo. Zemo's way better.
Okay.
Zemo because he gets the plus dice and the rerolls.
Yeah.
Okay. I went with Zemo, and with 2 attacks did 4 damage. Both Master Swordsman Death Decreed. Well, the big one.
Yeah, the one was Death Decreed.
Yes. He didn't even have to use Recal. That's how bad my dice were.
Bad dice, but that's the right choice.
I know. So I don't get him. He responds by dazing Panther and Thanos. I have no models left to activate. Right. He then scores the entire board.
You got Prio.
Yeah. He scores the board. And goes up to like 12-4 or something. Like, it's pretty bad. And this is meteors, so he can just like keep them until I flip them back. Next turn, I'm like, okay, Panther, you've got this, man. I Death Decree a builder into CGR. Fail to kill. I think, because he has 7 health on the back, and I just did 4. I think I did 2 damage with a Death Decree mantled builder from Panther.
Did he recall that?
Did he recall that?
Yeah.
No.
Or he just lived.
No.
Natty.
No. I think he ended the game with Recal still unused. I'm just saying, I had some good dice, like in previous games. This time dice were not my friend.
That's why I tell people, man, it's like I do these attacks into people, and like I do like 1 damage. I'm like what are the odds? Like, it feels so unlikely that I always get the short stick on this shit.
So I push his CGR next to his Star-Lord. Then I'm like, that's okay. I shit ton of power. Pounce. Blocks it all. I'm like, that's okay. I'm gonna spender with Panther onto Star-Lord. And now the dice spike. I one-shot Star-Lord, and I get the wild to auto-kill CGR.
Boom!
And from there, the game is just mine. His Bill picks up 2 viruses and moves away. My Thanos moves to flip the far left meteor, fails it, moves back to the middle, and ports Zemo next to Bill. And then Zemo one-shots Bill, takes the viruses. Now he has an injured Bill and an injured Star-Lord.
I mean, unless you had failed to kill Bill, then it's like the end of the world.
Yes. So there were some times where I completely failed in this game, and other times when they didn't fail, right? Dice are just dice.
Yeah.
But he starts the next turn with, like I said, injured Star-Lord, injured Bill, and I just kill them both. And so I ended up tabling him. I win the game 8-14.
Yeah.
Oof, that was close.
Good.
Yeah. But that's the kind of game I think that like that squad can have into a Guardian. So, I mean, he played it well, other than, I think, sacrificing Star-Lord's potential in the game for a couple victory points that ended up not mattering. So now I'm 3-2. I'm like, okay, we can do this. So we're at least 50-50 with the Thanos snowflake list, or the clouds could part. I could somehow go, go 4-2. And I'm looking through all the 3-2s, and there's a lot of cool people on there, people I'd like to play. Round 6 drops, and I get the fucking pair up into the 4-1 bracket.
Oh no!
Not happy at all. But it's into Jeremiah England, who we had been talking to all weekend. Yeah. I like Jeremiah, and so I was really happy with that. Like, no matter what, win or lose, we're just gonna have a good game.
He's the Steve addict, right?
Yep. So he was playing Steve,
the Steve
Avengers.
That's right.
Yep. We dropped Mad Men and Legacy Virus, and I knew he was playing Steve. I did not have enough reps with Thanos playing on a B, and I didn't want to get them now. So I chose not to play Thanos. I just
Coward.
didn't think he was
Coward.
going to be able to control the board enough. Because Jeremiah had prio, so he was almost guaranteed to go up on extracts. So because of that, I didn't think I was going to be able to chase him down and maintain the board state. So I figured it was time to play the other leader I had in my list randomly, and that was Storm. I used Storm's defensive rule leadership as a total of 0 times, mainly because I forgot.
I was saying
I
you
was gonna say
forgot,
you
right?
forgot.
I was gonna say because you.
I think we actually talked about it. I think there were only 2 instances where I could have, and both times he didn't do any damage, so it was irrelevant. I did use the hop to good effect twice, though. This was a mostly, obviously good decisions and positioning game, but also a dice game into Jeremiah. The biggest thing was my Logan one-shot his Panther on a front side, because he
Ooh.
rolled 4 hits and I did
Oh.
6. Now, this was after I whiffed the first attack, so, like, when people have, like, his takeaway is you one-shot my Panther, which is true, but the actual takeaway is over 2 attack actions, I dazed Panther with Logan, which is much more realistic, right? So, anyway, just a note that when dice happen, they often happen both ways. So I got the whiff and then the spike, and that helped a lot. But otherwise, the Storm team just did their job. Although watching Jeremiah play his squad was inspiring. I'm inspired to play Little Steve because holy shit, that's some stupid jank. He played.
You forget about how amazing his leadership is sometimes.
It is, yes,
Is
especially
it
on
Steve,
defense.
Is it Steve 2 or Steve 1?
Steve 1. So he played Steve 1, Panther, Thor, Zemo, and Black Widow 1.
Okay.
So he played Thor and Zemo together, and he played Zemo with reserve members. Which, if Zemo is next to any model with an leadership ability, active or inactive, gets an extra die on their attacks and defense once per turn. So on defense, Zemo was like, he was next to Thor the whole game, both giving Thor rerolls on his 6 dice builders and then helping Zemo with reserve members. It's really cute. But Zemo's rolling like, oh, you're attacking me? Oh, I guess I can just double move Zemo turn 1, like put Zemo straight in my face, because he can afford to spend for Master Swordsman every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously on the attack as well. So it's just a very efficient team.
Yeah.
That he played well. I was just able to Dice did not fail me that game, and I just wiped up his left side of his team. Cable and Zemo from my team and someone else. Oh, X-23. They just murdered Black Widow, Thor, and his Zemo. He won the other side, but I just killed the left-hand side and was able to score it out 16-12. So I ended up 4-2, playing Thanos 4 times, Storm once, and Cable once, and overall had a great time.
Cool.
Well done.
Jeremy, did you get any games in?
Not
just with
anymore.
Peter again?
Yeah, we just hung out, played some games with him. Like I said, my weekend,
Cool.
I had exactly as much fun MCP as I've had in years. Namely because I took a bit of a break. I've only played a handful of games locally lately. And I played a list that was kind of my style, and I finally kind of just let the brake loose and just punched the gas and just did what I've always been trying to do for a while. And all my opponents were pretty good, and I only say that because I did have one game that was a little contentious, but that's okay. Everyone knows the cool people that you are. But yeah, man, I had exactly the number of games that I needed to have this weekend of MCP. It felt really good. Had I made the qualifier or the actual invitational, just watching others struggle through some of their games. I mean, some. And I mean, I think Aaron avoided most of it, or you didn't really run into anything. But I did talk to other people who had some tough games, just with contention and oddnesses of what you call high tournament play, which I got some on that.
Some people...
I want to talk about real quick.
Go for it.
I think that people need to be better about communicating and communicating what they want or what they're trying to do. In that, if you get to a table and you don't like the setup, or you don't like the fact that someone's using dice that are different, or whatever, it is not your job to quote unquote bully them into doing your will. Sometimes I think that is how people feel when your opponent will say something like that or do something like that. If people would just be cool and casual about it, and if there's something that you don't like, just call a judge and then have it resolved. And if it's not resolved, just say, hold on a second, I need this resolved. Like, we need to figure this out so we can both play the same game at the same time. Because that can just lead to bad feelings. Like, I don't like it. Like, I just don't like that part of what would be considered like high tournament play, or just a bad game in general. Just saw it a few times. People just need to be able to speak up and not get all twisted, I guess, about it, one way or the other, whether it's a person being like overly intense or bullyish or whatever. Like, just let them know, hey man, there's this thing I don't like. Can we fix it? I can't imagine 95% of the people not going, okay, we'll fix it. Not make a thing of it.
Yeah, I do think there's a bit of a trend for some people to get to like a really high competitive tournament and then think that like the level of play needs to change, or they get like stressed in those situations, and it leads to maybe some confrontational situations because they're not properly communicating, like you said. Like, get to a table and like the train's messed up, or you get to the table and like I don't know, maybe you're really packed in there tight, you don't really have space for your stuff, or like your opponent's using dice you can't read, and so instead of saying something initially, they'll wait for it to cause a problem and then they'll get mad about it, or stressed or worried or freak out. And it's like, yeah, that definitely tends to happen more at the higher stakes tournaments, because I think people feel the pressure, like they feel like the games mean more or something.
Yeah. The only thing I had that was as close to that is the tables were very close together. So like the timer was on the edge of their table as well, which does not have anything to do with where the play area actually was. Just their mat, like 1 inch of the timer was sticking over, and then they shoved it back onto my table, knocking terrain and stuff. And like, I don't even have room to put my widgets. Like, dude, relax. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's just weird. It's a weird situation that can just be avoided by being courteous to each other, I guess.
Yeah.
And I will actually go ahead and I don't know if this is a limb or not, but I think those people who are unwilling to be courteous at the big tournament are equally unwilling to be courteous at the small tournament. I think if you lessen the pressure, so to speak, by in your local gaming tournament, something you're having every month, and so it's not a super special event and doesn't have all this prestige associated with it and all the optics on it. And I do think that definitely makes people more jumpy and more nervous. It increases anxiety, and therefore people may not make decisions that they would otherwise more clearly make. But I do think the people you're talking about, the people who aren't courteous, are probably not courteous in lots of ways in their lives. And they're probably not waiting to be discourteous just for big MCP tournaments. And the only reason why I mentioned that is I love big tournaments. I think big tournaments are one of my favorite things. And we have 20, 40, plus people come to our local tournaments on random months. And when that happens, I don't see a huge increase in discourteousness. I think maybe I'm wrong, and everybody can talk about how our local tournaments have such discourteous people, but I don't think that's the case. So if you are accidentally run into one of these people who is struggling to be respectful and kind while you're playing a game, that's bad. But I never want somebody to hear somebody's negative experience at a big tournament and go, well, then big tournaments aren't for me, because I couldn't do that. Or I wouldn't be able to handle that, or it's not worth my time. I feel like I think big tournaments do have more anxiety and stress with them, sure, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But I do think those people who are discourteous are willing to be discourteous all the time. They're not just saving it for the big.
Yeah.
To lighten the mood, I have an anecdote.
Oh.
We had a 20-minute judge call in game number 2.
Oh, God.
My opponent's rogue with dose health remaining attacked my Zemo. After doing, I forget, some small amount of damage. Almost as an afterthought, I was like, we'll counter-strike. I roll 4 dice. I get 3 wilds. Kill his rogue. He then wants to know if there is a timing window at which he can use Emma's leadership.
Oh, because it happens at the end of one of your character activations?
Correct.
I believe that the answer is yes.
You would be incorrect.
Okay.
The judge ruled it as being yes, and then came back after the event and said, or actually like
I was wrong.
10 minutes later and said, actually, I was wrong. Now, I don't believe there is a specific ruling on that, I think. And again, I don't remember what he said. I was focused on the game.
I'll say, what stops it? Because Emma's leadership says after characters activates, right?
Yes. The question is, can your characters activate? Is there an end of activation if you die in the middle of it?
Well,
and
the
are
ruling
KO'd
for what happens if you're dazed or KO'd during activation is that your activation ends in the rulebook.
So that's what he said initially, and then I don't remember when he came
So
back and said no.
Unless there's a terminology thing in specifically being KO'd that changes that, then I don't know why you couldn't trigger the Emmett leadership. Unless he's just quoting a forum ruling that just somebody flipped a coin and said this, which is why I hate the forums. But
no, he was engaged with the moderators though the whole day. Like they were responding to random questions he'd have, because there were a lot of random questions that came up in the middle of the tournament. I
bet.
So I need to do some more research and figure out what the answer should be there. All I know is he ruled in my opponent's favor, which I was fine with. I didn't care. I was more intrigued. I was like, that's a good question.
That is a solid question. Now I'm curious. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything specific on the forums about it. Or you can look at the rule books.
No, I'm checking the cards. I don't care what the forums say.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I also want to give a shout out to our other
that was cool.
Our other locals who went there. Austin, Quentin, Kenny, the England brothers, even though Jeremiah's on the coast. And we'll take John Paul George as a quasi-local.
We'll
quasi-local. Drivable.
He comes to our tournaments, so
yeah. Counts. And we've gone to theirs. So there are a lot of people from the general Midwest who did really well. So congrats to all of you.
Yeah, it was really exciting watching everyone play and how they're asking how they're doing and kind of seeing what was happening amongst everybody as being not playing in, the big event, quote unquote, like just being an outsider and not worrying about myself, like just checking in on folks was kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it when Quentin stopped by. I was like in the middle of round 1 and I'm like, are you fucking done already? And he's like, yep. I'm like, God damn it.
I know, it's such a jackass.
And then the last
and then he went to tell you this. Didn't he go to tell you the story? And you're like, I'm fucking playing the game.
Yeah, so in round 6, he stops by for like a minute and a half, tries to tell me everything that happened in his game. And the clock is on me. I'm trying to take my turn. I'm like, I want to be respectful of you as a person, but you need to fucking leave right now. Because I'm in the middle of round 6 on like table 5. Like, GTFO, man. I love you, but not now.
God.
See, some people do take these games more seriously. There's evidence right there. Wouldn't even listen to his friend's story.
I know. Stiff arm that shit. And Josh from Hughes accused Jeremy of bullying me last week, and I was initially affronted at that. However, upon reflection, I did spend the weekend sleeping at the foot of Jeremy's bed, so there might be something to our relationship we need to look into.
You have been talking a lot. I'd appreciate if you toned it down a bit. Only when spoken to. This is the rule. Sir, yes, sir.
Works better when I'm wearing the mask when you say that. In other fun news, Kenny and I are continuing our play the same list every week in the TTS League Challenge and seeing how it goes.
Oh yeah?
I believe we're both going to be playing unaffiliated non-Thanos lists this week.
Oh, excellent.
Our games will happen.
When you say play the same, what do you mean by that?
They're just playing the same list every week.
Oh, just the two of your lists.
Yes.
The same lists.
Yeah. There'll be different lists, but there'll be different lists week to week, but we will play the same one as each other.
Are you guys constructing them, or is somebody else making them for you?
We offered other people to be inspired, and people were like, I'm not doing your fucking work for you, so I I am actually kind of excited to take Jeremy's challenge to heart and see how well I can do with a non-Thanos unaffiliated list for the first couple months of this year.
Are you just going to ignore the fact that that's the challenge on weeks that Kenny chooses the list?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because Kenny's challenge was in place before Jeremy issued his edict. So, nope. Grandfather clause.
I would say that too.
I think
All right,
I think
here we
that
go.
it might be scary, the list that you come up with. We were talking about some pretty good stuff. I think there's a kernel of goodness in there.
Yeah, I'm really excited to explore it.
All right, I have the Emma Frost quote rules.
Uh-huh.
Once per round, at the end of an allied character's activation, comma. So we go back to the rulebook, and the rulebook says specifically, if a character is dazed during their activation immediately ends.
What if they're KO'd?
It will say that in the KO. Oh, so it's actually the same trigger. It just says specifically, if you're injured and would be dazed, you are instead KO'd.
Thus, not dazed.
When a character has damage tokens equal to its stamina stat and has been dazed or knocked out, it is KO'd. Seems confusing.
A little bit.
So you're saying that the model's activation doesn't end if it's KO'd, so therefore no one else can activate for the rest of the game? Because you're currently activating model?
That's right.
Okay, that's your argument. Okay.
I don't
have everyone that agrees with Aaron, raise your hand.
I don't have an argument. I'm just throwing darts.
I
don't see how it can't trigger.
I would go look for the judge that you know the best, that you know has your back, and then ask them that, and try and get yourself a good ruling.
You just tried asking a different judge for an answer?
Yeah, did you just...
I could have, seeing as that was the head judge, I chose to accept it.
Oops.
Also, because I didn't care and wasn't going to research the rules while I'm playing a fucking game, so...
You were busy talking to Quentin.
That's right.
Have a conversation with your bro. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into the numbers, the figures, and talk about how everyone did with their bets. Mainly Parker.
Ooh.
But also Jeremy.
Jeremy, would you bet 300 episodes?
They were Parker's episodes. I don't remember exactly. Okay. It wasn't mine.
I also bet a lot of Parker's episodes.
I only
as many as he was willing to bet.
And I'm here we go. Let's just get there. I'm gonna do what I can not to be really upset all night. Let's go.
Don't let this ruin your whole day.
Aaron, do you have the stats pulled up?
I will in 1 second.
Okay. So let's see here. We have how many factions will not be played, not including unaffiliated. Parker had said 4. I said 5. Aaron said 5. And Jeremy said 3.
I am very, very disappointed to say the answer is 4.
I'm going to win some of these.
No, false. Okay, so we're going to make a points list here. We've got Parker, Brandon, Aaron, and Jeremy. All right, so Parker gets
4 points.
4 points. Mm-hmm. And then we've got, what you say was 4, and so Aaron and I will basically tie for 4th place. So we'll each get 1 point. Jeremy will get 3 points.
All
right. Wait, I said 5. I was only 1 off.
Why? Oh, wait. Oh, it's 4, so we're all 1 off. So we'll all tie for 2nd then. Let's call it 2
you
points
went
each.
over. It was closest to, or you
it was not closest without going over.
Fuck.
All right.
That's how these things work.
2 points. Okay. I guess actually the way we'll do 3 because that'll be consistent through all of it. All right. Next up.
Hold on, Parker's
we've got
timing us out. What's up?
Okay. Why am I getting a timeout? What's going on?
I just wanted to ask a question. This was probably not going to make the podcast though, so I was trying to do it. Whatever.
So you want to cut this out?
Yes.
All right, hold on.
Do
you know the hand signal for cut this?
No.
It's cut it out.
God.
Are we skipping news? We just never mentioned it.
We did not do news because there was no news.
Yes, there is. Bishop Park was printed.
There's no news. We'll cover that next week. No one wants to hear about that right now.
Okay, just that's all I wanted to ask because we totally skipped it. I didn't know if anybody if we wanted to try to keep like topical, but that's fine.
All right, so next one up, we've got least played factions that was represented. So first of all, so that would be only one player, or do you want to do number of games? What would be best here? We want to do number of factions represented in the list selection, or do you want to do?
I thought it was number of games played.
I would do
total number of games played.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do number. That works. So, lowest number of games played that was played, we've got A-Force, Convocation, Black Order, and Weapon X.
One of those is actually correct, and it is Black Order.
Wow.
That doesn't sound right. Can someone fact check Aaron here? I think he's just lying.
Why was that? Would I say Black Order?
That was what you said. Yeah,
Hells to the yeah.
How was the? Yeah. How many games with Black Order?
One.
Kenny did it one time.
One.
It was Kenny.
Kenny was the only one.
Kenny went 100% with Black Order.
There you go.
God damn it!
All right. I re-listened to our last the episode where we made all these bets, and so I'm really excited to run over them again in my mind. It's fun.
All right. So, what was next?
So wait, who'd you give points to?
Aaron.
Only 4 to him, but who got next?
That's what I just asked.
Oh, I thought you were going to the next.
Calm down.
I thought you were going to the next.
Christ.
I thought you were going to the next question. Sorry,
No.
Mr.
Okay.
So Convocation, A-Force, and Black Order, who had the fewest games played?
Convocation was 0, so disqualified.
Okay.
A-Force.
So I got 1.
A-Force had 10.
And
Weapon X had 6.
Okay. So Weapon X is second place. A-Force is third place. So it'd be Jeremy, Parker, Brandon.
Yeah.
So Jeremy. Okay. Next up, we've got second most popular tactics card.
Ooh.
We've got Brace, Sacrifice, and Fallback are our 3 votes.
Our second most popular?
Mm-hmm.
The correct answer is Fallback.
Ooh, Aaron and Jeremy got it correct.
Hell yeah.
Makes me sad.
Sounds like you just earned another 1,000 episodes.
So obviously these are just functionally wrong. I guess we'll do which was closer to second place, Brace or Sacrifice?
Brace.
Brace was first.
Clearly first, yes.
And then I assume Sacrifice was not third. Was it
Sac
anywhere?
was 5th.
Sac was 5th? Okay.
What do you think was 3rd and 4th?
We'll get there. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
We can do a deep dive later. We gotta get through these questions first. All right. Parker. Okay. Next up, we've got the most popular card. Parker said Fallback. Everyone else said Brace.
Everyone else was correct.
Nice.
So everyone else gets 4 and I get 3? Is that what happens?
You get 1 because you're in 4th place in the
Got
points. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got most popular single model. Bill, Black Cat, and Toad were the bets.
Whoever didn't say Bill's a fucking idiot.
Ooh,
Parker said Bill.
What about Toad?
Comment stands.
Okay.
So
where was Black Cat?
Okay, Toad was 2nd, Black Cat was 3rd. But it's not even close.
Idiot.
It's very close.
Bill was 39, Toad was 24.
Sounds close.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, so
and then 23, 22, 21, right? It was super close after that.
Hold on. I gotta get the order. We're arguing before I can even type the stuff in.
Well, don't be an idiot.
You said Toad was 3rd?
Toad was 2nd.
2nd, Black Cat was 3rd. Okay. So we got 4, 4, 2, and 1. Okay. Next up is most popular faction. We have Guardians and Avengers were the two votes.
This was a little surprising. One of the interesting tidbits. Guardians were definitely first.
Yeah.
Avengers, however, were tied.
It doesn't
for
actually
12th.
matter.
I know this is an interesting tidbit though. Tied for 12th.
Yeah, it's a good stat, but
with 2.
I feel that was a mistake. I think too many people got off Avengers, but I get it. You shouldn't be forced into playing whatever is going on. Okay. Next up, we've got highest win rate faction. So on this one, we're going to do... Because, like, one game can't count. But, well, I guess, what's the breakdown? What is it? Because we've got unaffiliated, Wakanda, Webwares, and Wakanda again are bets. So I guess it probably won't matter. But
It won't matter. So unaffiliated was close, 10th out of 21.
Close, huh?
It was close. What?
I like how that was close, but
Hey.
third place was not even remotely close.
Top half, baby.
Fucking
I'm gonna
fight.
I'm gonna take that to the house. Top half. Wakanda was 8th, and what was the other one?
Webs.
Webs were 15th.
God damn it.
Webs had a grand total winning percent of 35%.
Huh.
We can discuss that.
I feel like the
more later or
community let
tomorrow.
me down. The community let me down.
So
I will agree with that.
what were the guesses? What was the win percentage guess?
Wakanda, Webs, and unaffiliated.
Okay. So I won that one.
Wow, I'm proud of you. Good point, Parker.
I'm
Just
counting
fucking
every one. This is
Every morsel.
I'm not I don't think I'm losing. I don't think I'm winning either though.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to that in a second. I'm just trying to make sure I'm recording this right. Parker and Jeremy.
Me scoring 1 when everyone else scores
Yeah.
4 seems wrong to me, but we'll see.
It's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
The other betters are not relevant to you other than whatever place you scored in. Does that make sense? So it's like the fact that 3 people tied for first is relevant to you on how many points they got, but they were all correct, so they all have to get maximum points.
I see your point.
And then so if you were the 4th most correct person, your points are not relevant to what other people got. But same thing, if you tied for second, you'll get 3 points, not 2. So
Got it.
So anyway, last one, we've got winning faction. So we had Shield, Avengers, and Guardians were the bets.
I'm gonna go with Guardians for 200, Pat.
Yep. So everybody else was wrong. How close were Shield and Avengers?
Avengers were the 3rd. Oh, in the top 8
For for final placement.
for final placement.
Or do we want to just do no bonus points for being close?
I think bonus points are fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and rank it. So
We're gonna go with Avengers. Came in 8th.
Were there any Shield in the top 8?
There were not.
Okay. So Avengers, which is Brandon and Jeremy, are going to get 3 points for second. Jeremy's and Parker's going to get 1 point for his Shield pick. All right. Did I miss any? Let's see. We did factions not played. Least popular played factions. Second most popular card. Most popular model. Most popular faction. Highest win rate and winner. Okay. Let's do some points. Alrighty. Parker, you did not get last place. I got last place.
No.
I got screwed on a lot of these, I feel. I think I had good picks. Alrighty.
That's how I felt at the craps table.
Yeah, I know, right? I got 16 points coming in last. Parker got 22 points. Jeremy with 25 points.
Ooh.
And Aaron wins with 29 points.
Woohoo!
I only before we move forward, I wanted you to know I listened to all of our rankings to the actual podcast, and one of my favorite moments is I'm looking at the Discord and following the LVO on Lonshanks, and I'm listening in my ears at the same time to you saying, if Avengers not there, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have no idea. Avengers is going to be there like crazy.
It's like people just gave up.
Yeah, you doubled, but you were so confident about Avengers, and so Jeremy was right there with you. He was just like, oh yeah, Avengers, oh yeah, and then that was probably the biggest surprise to me of the whole tournament is how much Defenders was there, but Avengers not.
Didn't show up. Yeah,
But both Avengers went 4-2. They both did well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know. I can't believe there wasn't more.
Yep.
Maybe it's because a lot of people were only playing Defenders because they were, Avengers, because they were clearly the most powerful. And now that they're not clearly the most powerful, people have moved away to play other things because they don't want to play Avengers. And maybe that's my misread on the meta. Because I view Avengers as still the best, but they no longer have that big gap to the second best. And so maybe people are using the opportunity to play other things.
I think Guardians were clearly the best. I think Avengers definitely took a hit in the scenario matchup with the Voodoo nerf, right? We knew they did.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But how much was kind of a question mark, and I think it still is, to be honest. We can talk for a second about overall meta stuff. For instance, like Guardians were by far the most popular, both in terms of players and games played. But second most was Hellfire and Webs. The combination of Guardians, Hellfire, and Webs made up almost half of the tournament field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's not good. But I really think that the obvious answer to a super attrition is I'm going to go super wide. And so that's why you saw those two styles of lists dominate.
Yeah. And
so Avengers, I don't think play the wide scenario quite as well in terms of the scoring it out for Hellfire and Webs. Because they can't afford all of the stealers that those two affiliations have. I think that's the leg up that those two affiliations give them, which is why you saw them rise to popularity above the Avengers, who do the same thing, just not quite as well.
Yeah.
And so that
the
meant
big
that
thing is that they have the attrition resistance that Web Warriors really don't.
True, but if a CGR, for example, is punching through that resistance, it doesn't fucking matter, right?
Well, it matters even more if you don't have the resistance and he punches through you. Your guys just die even faster, is the only point. No, they're better at scoring. There's no question that Webs are noticeably better at scoring. So I get it. Like, I'm not saying it's objectively wrong. The thing for me is I hate feeling pigeonholed into playing stuff I don't want to play. And I feel like that's the game in a nutshell right now, is you are playing one of these things or you're not playing. Like, you're not in the same tier as everybody else.
To some extent. And I remember before we left weeks ago, I said on the cast that I wasn't sure if I was going to play Webs and then not do well and feel bad that I spent time and effort preparing for a meta I didn't want to play in, and wish I'd have just done something fun. Or if I took something fun and then felt bad because I didn't do as well as I could have had I taken a more strategically constructed roster. Having done it now, I will say I am 95% very happy I went with the I'm here to have fun, roll dice, and try new shit. I really think Webs would have been a stronger choice. But I'm still very happy, like not really giving two shits about the meta and just kind of playing what I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will say anyway, I did hear several times people talking about just being done with CGR because of dice. CGR is a dice mechanic. Where Webs are not. That's very valid.
Yeah, that Webs are definitely more consistent, right? Like, because CGR is just shoving the entire game through an RNG machine and just hoping that you come out on top. You have a slight advantage, but just like blackjack, like the house is always going to win in the long run. But in a short period, you can come out on top, which is basically what it feels like against CGR. In a small sample size, anyone can beat CGR because you're going to see that variance. But in the long run, there's a reason people are putting their money on that, because it's gonna win in the long run, because his math is just better than yours. And so it's not fun to play against the house, is basically what it is. It's like, eventually, you're gonna hit the short end of the stick, and they're gonna take all your money.
Well, I was really glad to see Aaron try that at a higher level, just to see what you could do with it. I think you made the challenge for yourself, and for the most part, you did what you were trying to do. If you would have won the whole thing, what a fucking shit show this whole game. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny.
Other than choosing to play Thanos in inappropriate inappropriate place in game one, I don't regret the list or what I did with it, right? Yeah. I wish I'd have, practiced the list more than a total of 4 times. I only had 4 games with that exact list. And another 8 more with Thanos. So I wish I'd have been more practiced, but I say that to every convention I go to.
I have a question. Do you intentionally not put CGR on that list because you don't want to play him? Or do you just not think he's the best option for that list?
The first one. It was trying to test how good Death Decree on multiple models with reroll. It was a test of a principle. I think Thanos CGR plus name any model is super great. So it just wasn't where I wanted to take the list. And had I decided to do this 3 months beforehand and really wanted to test it with a game a day on TTS, I really could have tweaked it, and it probably ended up with something like that.
Mainly, being more comfortable in your off pitch, because obviously when you're running at the shop, you're running, plan A every game, and you're just, seeing how far you can push it. But then going against somebody who's very well practiced, playing the opposite strategy to you, it's obviously very outside the wheelhouse, if you will, of what your list is supposed to do.
Well, I just needed to. Like I was just fine playing the Cable and Storm. I mean, I won both games I played with them.
You just needed to recognize that you couldn't do it instead of getting greedy and wanting to play what you came to play.
Right. I just should have dropped Cable or Storm in the first game. That's the only change I would have made from a strategic standpoint. And maybe having tweaked the list. Like right now, again, talking with Jeremy and figuring out how to build an unaffiliated list, it really kind of got my juices flowing a little bit. Rather than starting with Thanos, I think I might end with Thanos. Like I think if you're legitimately building a list, you could start with, this is like a cast topic all of itself, but pick a concept like, hey, I want to be good on Ds, and I want to pick some stealers and play webs, and my 10th character is just going to be Thanos. And that way I always have an answer for the E, right? It's just Thanos space reality, and I guarantee I can slap him and 2 other characters that were already in my roster down, and we're going to do just fine. Mm-hmm. I really leaned into like the meminess of the list with being like, nope, we're all re-rolling. Like, and it was good, but it wasn't necessarily as synergistic as it could have been outside of the spots where it was best in. And if you're going to build a list that can win a tournament, you have to be able to cover your weaknesses, not double down on your strengths.
Yeah.
So I knew that. I just didn't care. I wanted to test this one particular strategy is the wrong word. Mechanic.
Cool. Alrighty. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about for LVO before we move on?
Recommend it. Again, for cons, I would give it a B+, a B. It's not Adepticon, so if everyone is thinking, like, I want to go to a big giant con that's like Adepticon, it's not. Adepticon is like a fucking carnival. This one is giant rooms full of gamers doing specific games, and that's basically it. There's a handful of junk you can buy, but not a ton.
It's really more about like big tournament day. It's less about convention. It's more of just a big tournament.
But that's it.
I want to shout out to JP. Congrats on making final table. Clearly not easy, and I'm proud of him.
I just wanted to also say congratulations, Aaron. The 4-2 with that is great. I'm glad you had a really positive experience with it, because I think everybody who feels the pressure to go to a big event like that, where it's going to be a big competitive thing, and you gotta take the best thing, find out what the internet thinks and play that, because there's no other options. I think they're doing it wrong. Personally, I never want to do that, and so I think you did a really good. I commend you for your willingness to try something, not because you thought it was the best, but because you thought you'd have the best time. So that was great.
Thanks. Thanks.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Jeremy.
And Jeremy's sub.
Shush!
And you just listened to Aaron Goes 0-2.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
That was clean.
God damn, I fucking nailed it. I know I did.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I felt it like exactly right.
I've heard that like it's not until you like see things from another perspective that you can truly appreciate like the little things. And so I think now that Jeremy has to be the one to count to 5, he respects how good I am at it.
No, I think it's more like other people respect how good you are at it.
Oh, it's like Aaron. Aaron's like,
Yeah.
God damn.
He's like,
fucking
Jesus
amateur
Christ. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, man. I thought for sure we were going to be trapped in Vegas again, man. I was like, don't do this again.
Oh, you almost got trapped in Vegas again?
Fuck. The plane started doing the
Yeah.
delay thing,
The ice.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
and it was like, 10 minutes and then 45 minutes or whatever. And then, we're like, what's going on? And Aaron checked the weather and did all his amateur broadcasting of weather and airplanes.
Mm.
And he's like, listen, we're going to live. I was like, thank God.
My favorite was last year when we got trapped in Vegas, a single snowflake fell in Texas, and so our flight got canceled. Is basically what that meant.
The winds whipped around a squirrel nest, and it was apparently
one leaf
rare.
was disturbed. Texas canceled all their flights, so we didn't have an airplane.
As far as I could tell. How was Thursday game night? Did people show up?
It was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Let's see. There were people there. I'm just trying to recall. It's been a long few days.
I actually couldn't make it there. For this week and this for last week and this week, I've got the girls solo. So
The big one can watch the little one. Isn't that how it works?
not quite yet. They're not quite there. Although it's close. I think it's close. It's funny. They I don't know how your twins are. I don't know if they're like so similar, like it's a snake eating its tail. But with them, they're far enough apart in age and like personality that they absolutely like help each other in different ways when they're going solo. My oldest is super like organized and regimented, and my youngest is like keeps like thoughts of compassion in play. So she thinks of others, and where my oldest just doesn't. She's just like, what is the most economical? What is the most organized response? And she's like, but what about other people's feelings? And she's like, I guess other people's feelings.
You getting to look into that is entirely different. My children have a hive mind. They have the identical twin hive mind, and at any point one of them can change. Like today I'm sitting there and like Eli is just kicking Gabe. And normally it's the other way. Like one of them is always messing with each other. So one day I might be like, I don't know, I think Gabe might be a bit of a bully. And then Eli will be sitting there and he'll just dive on his brother playing a video game. It's my turn. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's no telling.
Kids.
I was watching the new What If. Have you guys watched all that through?
I have not watched any of it.
I went on a big Disney binge over the break. I've had so many snow days and ice days and stuff off from work. I finished What If and I finished Loki season 2, which is something that was on my backlog for a long time.
That was a good one.
Yes, I finished What If. What do you think of What If without spoilers?
I'm not gonna give any spoilers. I watched the first couple or 3 episodes, and I was kind of like, I'll leave this here for a minute. And then tonight, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch the last episode. I need to go back and watch because the last episode was incredible. So I kind of need to go back. I don't know exactly like what happened, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I think I'll say this about both things that I watched. I feel like both of them were leaning very heavily on comic books, both lore. What If was leaving a lot of like comic book lore. Some of the even comic corners I've done, they borrowed like directly for content in the What If series. And Loki season 2 is the most comic book like non-comic book I think I've ever seen. They did a really, really good job of capturing what a comic book feels like, and they didn't steal any content from anything. They wrote that was a 100% original story. But I've heard a couple people online liken it to other Loki stories, like the ones I've read, and I'm like, I don't see it. I think the people who wrote that Loki season 2, really, they wrote Loki 1 and 2 as a package, clearly, and it was they were expressly trying to make something that was comic book like. It felt just like a comic book the whole time. There were moments actually that arrested me while I was watching, and I was like, wow, this feels exactly like a comic book reads, which is odd because normally I don't get that with any Marvel content. It's very much its own thing, but not Loki. Loki was absolutely
Did
a comic
you
book.
so compared to season 1, where do you put it? Like, is good, better, worse? What do you think?
Loki season 2, I guess I'd say this way: Loki season 1 exists so that Loki season 2 could exist. It's one continuous story.
Okay.
If you didn't like season 1 because you felt like it was half done or half baked, that is true. It was literally half of the story.
Okay.
And that's actually one of the things that made me feel kind of like a comic book. It was like reading issue 1, and Loki, the second season was issue 2, a really long issue, of course, but um, it felt like reading the same kind of episodic structure you see in modern comics, which is like we're going to write a run over a course of a year. Loki season 1 felt like the first 6 issues, and Loki season 2 felt like the back 6 issues. It really it
Yeah.
arced just like that.
I think they're,
It was
while being like literally like you're talking about one continuous story, I think Loki season 1 hits a different like emotional center than the second half does, like season 2. Season 1 feels like the intrigue, adventure, comedy part. And while the second part has comedy, it just is meant to hit you in the feels a lot more than the first season was. The first season's all about like learning and intrigue. The second season's all about like the dramatic payoff.
I'll also say this: one of the things that I remarked upon it is the little last time on Loki, little
Yeah.
the recaps they do at the beginning of episodes, Jeremy. Most of the recaps in season 2 had to draw scenes from season 1. Like that's how much they were woven together. So you literally, my wife, who God bless her, she watches television like in the background, and she really doesn't engage with television like you do with movies or books. And so she really didn't. She stopped watching. She loves Loki season 1. She loves Tom Hiddleston's Loki, and she couldn't watch season 2. She quit. She's like, I'm going to have to watch this back to back. Like I literally can't remember anything. I can't remember enough about season 1 to even watch season 2. I could. It wasn't impossible, but she did not pay attention to. She's like, I didn't pay enough attention to season 1. I watched this kind of. And I realized that now that I had to be there for the whole thing to get the experience, or to feel like you were understanding everything that was going on. So
okay, there's quite a backlog right now of Disney. There's the Kingpin show thing, Echo, and that, and What If, and all that. There's quite a few. I wish I could get excited about it. I'm just not. I don't know. Just not exactly excited.
I mean, you're waiting for the main plot of the MCU to pull you back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need Doctor Doom.
Hey, we'll get there. Don't worry. Yeah, we need that Doom.
I need Doctor Doom.
Need a mainline Victor. It's fine.
Mainline Victor. Yep.
I would say one of the things that I felt was actually really refreshing about this, because that was when I finished, that was one of my wife's questions about this. She's like, so how did this like expand the MCU, Loki? And I was like, maybe not at all. Like they really did make it so that it stand on its own. They didn't try to introduce a new movie character. They didn't try to. I mean, they could, like a good comic book. Another writer could pick up the story where it was set down and do something else with it. But
I was surprised.
It absolutely stands totally by itself.
I was surprised to see was his name Majors back, the guy who plays Ultron, not Ultron, Kang, the guy who plays Kang.
Oh yeah.
Was he back, or was it just pre-recorded and like they were like,
I think it was already recorded, and so I think part of it was we'll see how people feel about this, but it's already in the can, so like we're gonna release it.
That's what I was.
And
assuming.
then it was and so I think I think the expectation is that he's gone. I don't think they're gonna shoot any more stuff with him.
Really?
That was the impression I got from not just the show, but from articles and stuff also. It sounds like they've kind of stepped away from him, but we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong.
I will be shocked after the end of Ant-Man if he doesn't appear in a big way. They've set him up as the primary protagonist.
They did, but that's why.
So hard.
But Loki happens after, like in our timeline, like chronologically, Loki happens after. Like, they're obviously their intent was to go into Kang, but I think they've basically scrapped that with the political issues.
Oh, just like because of the man.
Yeah, I think they're just cutting ties with Majors entirely. Now they might recast Kang, but I think for right now they're shifting gears in some way.
So if Hollywood was like the NFL, they just have to like not act in one, and that's enough punishment, right? They just like, it's fine. It's fine. They can act the crap out of stuff. Back in.
I think the NFL has shown quite clearly that they don't give a shit about what you've done or what you might do.
Exactly.
And only that it seems like they're punishing people.
Yep.
Someone who was not convicted of a crime served an 8-game suspension, and another guy who was, I believe, found guilty of beating his girlfriend served 0 punishment. I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, was one of them better at football than the other? Come on,
one
now, it's
was
all relative.
Yeah.
If you're real good.
One of them has a $200 million contract. The other guy is a rookie.
Yeah, that's too bad about the rookie part. That isn't going to work.
One of the things about sorry if everybody's listening. I just hit my mic. One of the things about the NFL and all professional sports, at the end of the day, and I think a lot of people, it gets muddled, especially the way we're introduced to it as children. I think it is absolutely an entertainment industry. Like, bottom line, it is designed to sell tickets and get watches and views. It's an entertainment industry. It's always been an entertainment industry. I think there were people that do things for the love of the game. I think there are people within NFL who do that, absolutely. But the National Football League exists to make money. It's just a private enterprise. And a lot of people get it muddled and muddied with, and I think the NFL likes it that way, that it's some sort of higher, more noble pursuit because it's also, athletic. But it's there to make money. And if somebody makes you money, you are willing to bend tons of rules and make things go away and disappear if you think it will make you more money at the end of the day.
I don't think you're directly wrong, but I think with almost any enterprise, when you get away from the point is when it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I totally understand that, like, the premier goal of the NFL is to make money, but the point of it is to have a competitive sport. Like, so they're converting something they do well, which having probably the most competitive sports league in the entire world, and they convert that into dollars because it's entertaining. Mm-hmm. Now, at the point at which you get away from having the thing be the goal, that's when the secondary part falls apart. Mm-hmm. And you see that in gaming in general, like, because, football's a game. You see that in, like, Magic Gathering. As soon as they quit caring about making a good game, the shit falls off the rails and they lose money. It's like, so you have to keep your thing to having integrity before you can worry about money. The second you stop caring about the actual point of it is when the goal of making money fails.
I suppose I'm talking less about like the game per se, or like in between snaps, and more about all the stuff that's happening, before, during, and after the game.
I don't think you're wrong at all that they're going to bend lines for people that make them lots of money. I always expect that to happen in some way. But at the same time, if you do it too much, then, the whole thing falls apart and you lose integrity, and then people start, like, boycotting your fucking sport.
It's really interesting. I feel like as many sins as the NFL, as people can levy against the NFL, when people make that kind of argument that there's got to be a point at which people would stop buying your product or functionally watching you. And then I always hear shit about FIFA. And I go, good God, maybe there is no, I don't know where it is actually, because the shit that I hear, FIFA, which has been likened to an organized crime syndicate masquerading as a sports enterprise, it always blows my mind. And I understand people, in America, we don't have a lot, and I don't have a lot of expertise about FIFA. But when I read or hear about the kind of things they've accomplished, quote unquote, it blows me away. And I wonder, what is the human limit? What are we willing to look away from when we really, really just like guys kicking balls?
FIFA's the World League, right?
It's one of the world
international.
Leagues. Yeah, it's the largest and most successful world league of soccer. Yeah.
Okay.
And they have been notoriously known for a long time to be like a criminal syndicate, one of the most successful and public criminal syndicates in the world. and just monstrously corrupt in how they deal. And
Well, yeah,
yet,
generally, anytime you cross national boundaries, you're going to have corruption.
right. And that's one of the ways they hide, right? Because they are international teams, so that they can play, different countries off of other countries and work on things like prestige. There's all
Yeah.
kind of like layers that they Machiavellian, intrigue they're always engaged in. And it's really hard to make things stick because they would need an international police, basically. Interpol would be functionally the group that goes after them, but there is very little public outcry for their response as a response to their dealings, because they provide the World Cup, right? Like,
It's kind of like college football, where it's like everyone's cheating. They're just trying to cheat better than the other teams are cheating. And if you try and point the spotlight at what the other teams are doing, then you have to also not be doing that thing so that nobody does.
And to be fair, I do not know, because I don't know enough about this. I've learned of it and not deep dove. But as far as I know, FIFA does preserve from kick to kick. That is preserved as far as I know, and maybe somebody could tell me that, oh no, FIFA is also rigging games and creating and capitalizing off of that moment too. But as far as I know, those games are still more or less honest. And maybe, like you said, as long as that moment from snap to snap, from clock in to clock end, as long as those are sacred, then people are willing to look the way for almost anything. But it's interesting. Interesting.
Did we come up with a topic for the movies and stuff?
Aaron's refusing to give one again.
I'm torn about this.
I mean, if Aaron doesn't want to do it, we don't have to do it.
Well, I think maybe that's what it is. If Aaron wins, we don't do it. That's what I feel like. I feel like that's kind of what happens. Like, maybe next time we do it.
He wins and makes us all lose. Jesus Christ, it's the most genius thing I've ever heard of.
Right, like that's the idea. I
think the real point here is that's how much Aaron hates our listeners, is that he wants to remove good content from them.
My loathing hath no bounds.
Yeah.
Because I want to support his moral stance, but I also
wait.
I want there to be some sort of. I want there to be something.
Why do you think it's moral?
What
there's
the
clearly no
fuck?
morals here.
Because he said at one point that he didn't appreciate the feedback that he got, and he's going to abstain. That's a matter
we
of
call
integrity,
it the Nigel
right?
boycott. Then that's fine. We'll just ban Nigel from the Discord, so we don't have to deal with this.
I don't think we need to
Wait.
we need to crush speech for this. I just think
there's definitely not free speech in my Discord.
no, it's not a public forum. I get it.
You are joking, right, Parker? I can't tell. I honestly.
I'm absolutely joking. I'm absolutely
Okay.
joking. I'm absolutely.
I was not joking. He has no morals.
I'm absolutely joking, but I feel like if you want to take this stance that you abstain from selecting if you win, I feel like that's what happens, right? Like that's the.
It'll be fixed real quick because people just stop voting for Aaron because they want topics.
That's true.
I just ran out of creativity, and you're gonna make me out to be this bad guy.
No. That I don't think it's bad. Actually, I think it's.
I think it's bad because it's clearly a lie.
Fine. Movies starring people with the first or middle name of Brandon. Go.
All right.
See, it's dog shit. That's why you guys pick the categories.
Okay, now
And
I think I'm beginning to
contribute.
understand more clearly what's going on here. It's really just that you feel as if there is the likelihood of you coming up with a successful category is so low, we would rather somebody else choose. Am I getting that right?
Yes, that is 100% accurate.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then it's not a matter of.
It is not a moral stance in any
it's
way,
not a
shape, or
moral
form.
stance,
No.
Then I had an idea. I could float
We have a topic.
A topic would be I don't know if we've done this. I think we've done this maybe, but you have to remind me. Did we do monster movies yet? Movies featuring monsters? Monster movies?
Like Godzilla type monster movies, or like Friday the 13th monster movies.
Yes, big or small monsters.
Sure.
They're very different. We've done horror movies, I thought, didn't we?
I don't think we did.
No, we didn't do horror movies. I don't think we've done either of those.
Yeah, I say
So
I
are we
think monster
doing
movies would be fun.
Scary.
Like, you
monster
don't need to
movies?
be creative with the topic. We just need a topic. Like, you
Yeah.
choose comedies from 1971 to
Yeah, that's what I'm
1979.
saying,
Like, it
monster
doesn't
movies.
matter what it is.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be
It's-
super creative.
yeah.
Monster movies is a kind of movie we haven't done.
That's correct. And when you win, you can choose monster movies.
Okay. Aaron is asking us to help him.
If he wants suggestions, I'm happy to give suggestions, but Aaron needs to pick. So far, he's given us actors with the first or middle name Brandon.
Well,
I'm prepared to pick movies.
Does monster movies float your boat, Aaron? I'm going to start pitching to you, Aaron, not to everybody.
Yes, that is an excellent idea, Parker.
Okay.
So now we have to do monster movies with Brandon.
I mean, he hasn't announced that he is replacing his previous topic. Would you like me to put in monster movies instead?
I would.
Okay, monster movies is. So, do we want specifically giant monster movies or anything in which there is a monster?
I think monster movies is what you do. It doesn't have to be
Anything.
You think that until I tell you mine, and then you want to fight about it.
Oh, we'll fight about it.
No, because if we're clarifying now that's anything with a monster, I'm fine with that. That's just a different.
Is a giant shark a monster? Let's clear that up.
Yeah, if with this criteria, absolutely.
Jaws, no. Megalodon, yes.
Oh,
No, that's
okay.
giant monster.
Jaws is not a monster.
Jaws is a monster.
No.
No, I wouldn't classify it as a monster movie.
Jaws is
'Cause
a
that's
regular
a trope.
fucking shark. That's like calling
He's a
Babe,
monster, though.
the pig, a monster movie.
Are you saying Lake Placid is not a monster movie?
That was a gray area. Those fucking crocodiles
Why?
were
If
They're-
Lake
aliens.
Placid, then certainly Jaws. Oh my
Exactly,
God.
they're the same movie.
Yeah, I would lean toward no.
I mean, it is your topic. You can decide.
I just decided.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put giant monster movies then.
First
Nope.
off, Jaws.
Nope.
Jaws
Okay.
2, Jaws 3, also Jaws 4, which features Sir Brandon, who is a
Brandon's
small
son.
character who is the boom mic operator on the island.
They call that a key grip.
Well, I don't know. Whatever. All right,
Okay,
we got to get
movies.
rolling because some of us have to go to bed. Remember?
Again, I know we've covered this previously, but I'm just going to reiterate it. When we start the content portion is not relative to when we stop recording.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
When we started recording is
Sleepy
relevant to
time.
when we stop recording.
I'm prepared to talk about Jaws some more.
Okay, well, currently we're on pace to end at 11:45. So, like, unless you do something to change that, that's going to be 11:45.
Oh, okay. God.
We don't need to start talking about topics now to get 11:45. Parker, did you get a comic corner?
I do have one in my back
All right,
pocket.
now that he's not listening, I have a secret to tell you guys.
I have one.
I've never heard Parker so intent on listening in my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
stopped what he's doing, looked at the camera.
Yeah, I thought maybe my mic turned off, so I was looking for my green ring. I was like, did I turn off?
Parker, I would like you to try and be a little bit more diligent today about watching the cameras while you're talking.
Okay.
You have this great habit of looking to the side and at your keyboard while you're talking.
Collecting my idea, yeah.
Yeah. But then you can't see the hand signals of us all waving stop.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, my comic corner today, I have no record of using it before, but I'm really torn about it because I know I talked to someone about it before. I can't remember if it was on this podcast. It was just to you, Brandon. So
It probably was just to me.
okay, it probably was just to you.
I am your only friend.
Yeah. You are the only friend of mine who asks for comic book tales. Because you're not interested in reading the comic book, but you are interested in the lore.
Oh my god, this topic is amazing. There's so many good movies in this
Yeah,
topic.
they're good ones.
I don't think that one would count. Damn it! Oh my god, this movie is terrible. Well, I just accidentally found 10, but I'm worried that you guys are going to name the same ones now. Ooh, I really like that movie. There's a lot of these that you could count that are like really close.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line. I'm definitely sticking with monster movies.
Okay, so when we say monster movies, do we mean as long as there's some kind of like an inhuman menace and not specifically a singular monster? Like, what if there's two?
Oh, I think you could have more than one.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like the movie The Meg, there's 2 megalodons.
Yeah, also there's some movies
Okay.
where it's like a swarm of monsters, and I think that would count.
Okay.
I think your idea of non-human menace is probably like a good...
Yeah. Oh my god, then, oh wow. No, this is impossible. There's way too many.
There's a lot.
Bro, we could name only blockbusters and still have 20.
Oh no, there's absolutely a ton of them.
Wow, I never thought about this as a topic.
Yeah, you got to narrow it down to like blue monsters.
Blue monsters.
Only monsters that are blue. Monsters that have more than one leg.
Are we restarting? This
Monsters
is
that only have
2024.
one
Did
leg.
we say we're restarting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. God, there's literally so many possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like this movie, but it's good.
Well, don't do that. The point is to...
I know, it's down my list.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's also a fun franchise.
Yeah, I think it's always wonderful whenever people post, that movie was terrible, or that movie is bad, or there's so many better movies. I go, yeah.
Say it's almost broken Aaron. Aaron won't even pick anymore.
But whenever people post on Discord about that, I was just like, yes, of course there are. I'm picking a movie that I think is like strange and interesting, and I enjoy it. Not movies that are ostensibly the best movies ever made.
God, there's probably 10 just Nick Cage movies that fit in this category.
Oh yeah, probably.
I don't know. 10 Nick Cage movies in this category?
There's a lot of bad Nick Cage movies
Yeah.
that people have never heard of.
There are a lot of like B and C horror flicks in this category that I have seen that I am not going to put because they are terrible. There's only one B movie that's going on my list.
Oh, I have like 6.
I know.
Yeah, I have to stop picking. There's too many. There's too many. There's too many amazing ones on my
There
list.
really
to be
is.
adding these garbage ones. All right, Parker, did you see the panel from the Doom comic I sent you, where it's Richards, Grimm, and Doom sitting in a room.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I don't know what timeline it is, but something horrible has happened. And because Richards calls Doom to bring him in. And normally it's like Johnny or somebody that goes to get Doom to get him to help because Richards is too proud. And so Richards is brought in Doom. And then Doom is like needling Ben Grimm about like his failures. And he's just like... And then Richard's like, "You better stop! Like he's gonna get mad."
So the context, I've read that comic. The context for that is it was Johnny Storm died, and the Fantastic Four are desperately looking for a way to find out, to confirm his death, and to find out if he can be revived. And in his desperation, Reed turns to Doom, and of all the Fantastic Four, the person who hates Doom the most is probably the Thing. Like Ben is like he really can't stand him because he can't stand his like haughty nature. Like it bugs him too much.
He's so egotistical
Like-
it drives him insane.
Right, like Sue and Reed are both like kind of respect him because he is, you know, a great mind, and they're both great minds. And Johnny is just kind of scared of him, really. But Ben doesn't like bullies, and so he hates him. And so that in that moment where he's taunting him about his inability to save Johnny, he's taunting Ben about that. Ben is just like, whoa, it just looks like he's about to just rip him in half. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty awesome writing. Really good drawing. Art. Here's hoping I can make it through this whole freaking podcast, man. My word selector is broken. I'm not vocabularizing so well.
So nothing different, just same old.
No, I'm pretty sure this is very different. It feels different.
Feels different. All right, I guess I should look up who won the poll. I don't know if anybody out there is a sports fan, but boy, I crushed. Oh wait, hold on. What happened? Did everyone? Oh no, it's out of order. That's what it was. I was like, how did Parker win all of a sudden?
No.
Okay. It's interesting when it comes to the voting for like a competition mindset, because some categories it's better to go last But then other categories, it's better to go first. Basically, the deeper the pool, I think going last is actually good. And a shallow pool, going first is really good because you get like the big one. All right, so... Ooh, I actually get to go first for once. Nice. Jeremy, would you like to go second or third?
Second is fine.
Jeremy is dead.
You didn't hear me? I said I'd go second. Did you not hear me?
I cannot hear Jeremy if he's talking.
He's not talking.
I was.
I don't know what he's selecting.
I think he is talking, but we cannot hear him. Oh, there we go. Wow, he's lagging.
What
His
happened
video
there?
delay is pretty intense.
That was like 10 seconds.
All right, let me
Okay,
restart
I'll put
this. Hold on.
Jeremy second, and you're cutting out really bad. You might try leaving the channel and rejoining. All right, now that he's gone. It's funny how quickly you can get people to leave a channel if you just say they're lagging.
There was a joke there, but I honestly don't want anybody else to leave. I like you guys.
Oh, okay. So what are we doing for main topic? Obviously, we're going to cover the breakdown of the results from LVO. I figure Aaron at least will have some stories, if not also Jeremy.
How's it going now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you seem okay now.
Okay.
I'm ready to be regaled of Tales of Vegas. Both of their performance in the tournament and the performance at the craps table. I'm curious to know how it went.
Oof. The second one was disappointing. I'm still up for life, but as of now I'm not up from Vegas. We'll call it that.
So not counting sports betting, I was lifetime up until I went to Vegas last year. Now I'm down like I think $50. However, I'm up like $50 in sports betting. So
All I know is it was a very edifying experience. Jeremy was like, "Come here, come to this table. This is a great game. You just put your money down here." Okay. Nope.
That's
that
how
was
you
bad.
lose
Do
a
it again.
lot of money.
Nope. What about again? And
Jeremy likes
Jeremy's chips
playing
just like
games
keep
that-
disappearing. And he gives them more money, and they give him new chips. It's pretty cool. And then all the chips go away, and then he gives them more money. That was my experience in Vegas.
Yeah, that was one of the coldest tables I've ever encountered. Like I went every time and never got anything going. Like usually you'll have one good hit, and if you can ride that train, you'll be doing good. But yeah, no, it was
never got
sad.
any traction.
No, nope, and yeah, it just wasn't.
That was me, dude. I think I never won more than like $20 off of a single like set of rolls or roller, if you will, in craps, and I lost. I think like nine rollers in a row. I got $0 and lost my initial investment. I was just like, this is crazy. Like I know the math, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you guys good? You ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron threw up the devil horns just for the listeners, so that everyone knows.
Oh shit.
Hopefully, it's not too harsh.
On me?
Yeah.
I think I give a shit.
I mean, you've got a long-standing opinion of you'll just abstain from anything that is like somewhat degrading. So,
Well, you're not wrong.
all right,
Just
Mojo
abstains.
World, let's do it. Aaron has non-reluctantly given a topic this week of monster movies.
See if I can
All right,
break the topic this week. Let's see if I can crush this.
Oh, I'm sure I might have my first veto this week. We'll see. So I get to go first. I'm going with Jaws.
You just had to, didn't you? You just had to.
It's literally a monster movie. It's like you can't give me an example of another movie that is a monster movie and not have Jaws be one. It's literally a monster movie.
The author actually describes it as a monster movie. Yeah.
Now, I'm actually not going to say it's not a monster movie, but I will say, do you actually like the movie Jaws?
Absolutely, it's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, I'm not saying that patronizingly.
Oh, you're saying that? Did I pick it because I want to try and get it like a vote?
Right. Or not
Jaws
not that. Just to troll exactly what just happened in the pre-ramble. Okay.
No, I'm definitely picking Jaws.
Okay. I'm totally.
It did take me a second to think about it because people don't think about Jaws as anything other than Jaws.
Yeah,
because that's what it is, and it's just like, oh my god, it's fucking Jaws. And so,
Jaws defined the way people see the ocean. That's how.
it fucked people up.
There's a reason I don't. You know how many times I've gone more than 3 feet into the ocean?
Never.
0 fucking times. Never. I've been in 3 oceans 0 fucking times. Alrighty, Jeremy, you're up.
Man, there's so many good ones. I'm going
There's
to
so
select Hellboy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love
Hellboy
just the feel
1,
of those
the original
movies.
Hellboy?
I'm gonna say 1, and somebody better not grab 2 because I think the whole Hellboy universe is just awesome, and it could
Dude,
work
the
too.
Perlman Hellboy universe is absolutely
It's
amazing.
fucking
I wish
great.
they would have kept doing it.
Yeah.
I do want to push back on this. I don't think it's a monster movie.
What the fuck's wrong
You
with
think
you?
he's human?
No,
Do
no,
you think
but
the
he's
guy
not the
in
monster.
the train station is fucking?
He's-
You don't think that's a monster? The one
But
that he
he's
goes
not
after?
the antagonist. He's like a throwaway
Also,
villain.
there's a giant Cthulhu monster at the end. Like,
Yeah, there's a Cthulhu
but that's
monster.
that's not the antagonist. That's just like the end climactic scene.
I,
Like the bad guy
There's
is
Rasputin.
the Rasputin dude. Yeah,
Uh-huh. But
like the
it's
other
a
people are just
monster
like
movie.
henchmen.
Del Toro would tell you it's a fucking monster movie. All he wants to do is monster movies.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm just saying
my
I don't
God.
feel like it really fits the setting.
Nigel,
but it's
help me.
it's amazing movie. I love it. It's a great movie. Parker.
I'm gonna go with since this is a new year,
I can't
and I can
believe
use
that.
this one again. I'm gonna go with Reign of Fire again.
I almost put that on my list.
I love that movie so much.
So with dragons,
Yeah, that's Dragon one.
Matthew
Christian
McConaughey,
Bale and
excuse
yeah.
If you've never seen it, you're wrong. You should see it.
I just need to push back a little bit still. How was my movie Jaws nearly vetoed and Hellboy was not as a monster movie? I just want to feel like I'm held to a different
mine has
standard.
monsters in it. Yours has a shark.
It's shark. Have you seen a 25-foot great white? That's a monster.
Twice. I saw him twice.
All right.
If we're
Aaron,
talking about things that you see and say that's a monster.
here it comes.
Well, then
You ever been
my
into a
first
Walmart?
pick has to be Boogie Nights.
Oh God, I knew we were getting there.
Yeah, something was happening there. Great job.
Ah.
I was expecting that. That's what she said. All right, Aaron, it's your pick. You get 2.
And the second one will be Underworld.
Was Boogie Nights your first one?
It's a monster conda.
It's not. I need you to actually pick a movie now.
You're not gonna let me pick Boogie Nights.
No, I'm
No, I'm
vetoing
not. I'm
Boogie
not.
Nights as well. Yep.
I haven't seen it. I'm vetoing it.
I'm just saying that's a fucking monster.
That is a big
It's a
one.
great joke you just told.
That's a
but
hog.
we need a monster movie.
Can we
Son
move
of a-
on?
And you're
now?
not
It's a
gonna let
hog
me
movie.
continue to put that onto the
No.
the poll, huh? Predator.
Fucking asshole.
That was too easy. I
Hey,
didn't go with
I
that.
wanted Boogie Nights and you wouldn't give it to me.
All right. Yeah, I know. I knew I couldn't get all of them coming back, but God, there's so many are gonna go before it gets back to me. This is exactly the time when it's great to go last. Parker.
I'm gonna go with one of my favorite monster movies. It's just total popcorn movie. Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
They're canceling the apocalypse. I love that movie so much.
Reset the clock. All right.
Also got some Charlie Day in it.
It does have Charlie Day in it.
Yeah.
One of his many feature films.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Jeremy. I'm just happy you can only take one of mine.
I don't think I'll take anybody's. Yeah.
You're just
NightBreed.
going Hellboy all the way down.
Clive Barker's NightBreed.
NightBreed. I've not seen that.
So good.
What is it about?
It's a
Vampires?
town that basically has monsters that live in it, in like the darkest corners of it, and they find them and then they start to fight back, kind of thing. It's Clive Barker, so it's very Hellraiser-ish. Like the monsters are very
Okay.
like just intense.
Okay. Okay, here we go. My last 2 picks. Well, obviously, I'm picking The Thing. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
I knew that was
fucking
coming back for you.
legit. Yeah.
Mhm.
You love that movie.
Now there's 10 more I could pick. These are,
Oh yeah, I have an incredibly long list.
God damn it. So I'm going to pick a movie that I know I'm going to get just absolutely roasted for and just give up on trying to win. But I love this movie. It's fucking amazing. Van Helsing.
Dude, I like Van
Yeah.
Helsing.
It's so
It's
good.
such a popcorn
I know
fucking rock and roll.
Super,
yeah.
It's super corny, super cheesy, super over the top, but it's exactly what I want to watch sometimes.
Man, I cannot agree with you.
I know.
I cringe hard on that movie. I can't.
But it doesn't have like these horrible one-liners like a lot
No.
of the other cheesy movies do. It's actually just like it's the action scenes are silly over the top, but like
There are a lot of one-liners, but
there's an infinite number of great movies I could pick here, but I'm going with what I actually like. So
yeah, go for it.
Jeremy, your final pick.
Wait, I've only done 2. Did I get skipped?
No.
Okay.
Just relax.
Got it.
You're here. I need you here.
Got it.
I'm gonna pick Aliens.
I fucking knew it.
I have to. I grew up with that.
Yeah, I know. God, I love so many good ones.
They're so
Parker.
good.
I'm gonna go for a really lesser-known one with a very derivative name that I'll be really shocked if any of you guys have seen this one. Monsters. Have you any of you
Yeah,
seen-
those are on my list.
Really?
I love monsters.
That movie is such a thinking movie. Like,
Mhm.
Aaron, have you seen Monsters? I have a
don't
feeling
believe so.
you would like Monsters.
It's like a Netflix original level movie. It's great.
It really is like the point of the movie is that there's a monster invasion of Central America, and it's about a journalist trying to help someone cross an infection zone, and the point is not the monsters.
Yeah, it's just the setting.
Yeah,
It's really crazy.
It's amazing story. It's just super gripping and one of the coolest monster movies ever. It makes you feel like, okay, this is what would be like if there actually were monsters. It would be this really surreal experience. Really good. Anybody who's never seen Monsters, check out Monsters.
Aaron, your final pick.
I almost thought you were going to take mine for a second because I'm going to go Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
Mm.
That's not a monster movie.
Yeah, whatever.
That is precisely a monster movie.
It's literally not a monster movie though.
They went to college.
The monsters are the protagonists.
We didn't define
maybe
this
that
as
is.
they have to be the antagonists for monster movies.
Aaron,
You guys are thinking I cheer against the aliens in the movie? Oh yeah, you guys are wrong. Every time I see the chest burster, I'm like, you go, little boy!
But you realize
Get
in
those-
monsters they're trying to protect the kids, right?
Well,
Well,
monsters
why
are
do you
always trying
think
to
You
be
not-
monsters
and
are
have you seen
pejorative?
Monsters Inc?
Yes.
I feel like he just saw posters.
posters?
Like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of monsters that scare the kids. I get it. Like, they just turns it off.
when my
Turns it
daughter
off,
was
yeah,
little and
all done.
all the other little girls are wearing princess dresses, whenever they asked her, "What's your favorite movie?" she would say Monsters Inc. And I would immediately cut in, "Yeah, everybody else likes the fantasy and knights and princesses. My daughter just likes to see 2 full-grown men doing their job." That's basically what that movie was about.
So are you actually picking Monsters Inc. or is this another troll?
No, it's not a fucking troll.
Okay.
Nor was the other one. That was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Sure, whatever. Okay. Do you guys want to do another round and go to 4, or are you happy with 3?
Let's stick at 3. Let's stay to the format.
All right.
Let's
It's
do
got
it.
to be the best
I know
three.
you want to
You got to throw out your best
There's
3.
so many good ones.
do
So many
some
good
honorable
ones.
mentions. I know you're chomping at the bit.
I have so many. All right, fine. We'll call it there. All right. So honorable mentions. Let's see. So you took my Pacific Rim and my Monsters.
Mm.
I also had I Am Legend.
Hmm.
I should have picked this one honestly if I was trying to win. The Mist.
Is on my list.
The Mist was a better
Oh,
book
it's
than a movie.
So good. Oh, but the movie's still so good.
It's good. It is good.
Yeah.
One of the best endings in the
Alien.
movie. I love that.
Yeah, one of the best endings. Alien, in addition to Aliens. Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Fun-
Oh, I
fun
forgot
one.
about Pitch Black.
What about Starship
Great movie.
Troopers?
And then-
Y'all missed that one.
It's not a monster movie.
Yes, it is. What are those
Not.
things?
So, like, at least to me, some
Uh-huh.
part of the monster movie is meant to be like the suspense and horror of the monster.
We never.
Starship
defined it
Troopers
as
is just
horror.
an action movie.
Oh my god.
Like, Monsters Inc. has nothing to do with it being a monster. So, if you're talking about a movie with a monster in it, obviously it's fine and it fits. But, like, for me, like, monster movies is it's like the genre of monster movie. Like, we said, okay, we're going with horror movies. And you're like, I just picked Arachnophobia. And you're like, why? And it's like, well, that's kind of... It is a horror movie, but, like, not really. Anyway.
I
And
had
then,
It.
obviously, the best one is Tremors.
Tremors was the last one on my list. I think we had very similar lists.
We did. It's a good choice.
What about the movie Legend? You ever see that? Tom
Yes.
Cruise. So fucking good.
I think Legend actually has. I think there's some nostalgia goggles on that because that one's kind of like Labyrinth. When you watch it in the modern era, it's kind of like, oh, some of this is not what I remember. Now, some of it's amazing. I'm not taking a lot away from Legend, but some of it is more cringe than you remember, I think.
Have you watched
What
it
is
lately?
this movie?
Oh, I think the
my
last time I watched Legend was
Ooh.
maybe 10 years ago even. Like it was a while ago. I haven't watched it
I actually
I
watched.
have never heard of this movie.
What?
1985. Wow, this thing looks nuts.
It is nuts.
Wow.
What is it?
It looks like some just D&D adventure where they fight a demon.
Oh my
Tim
god,
Curry,
this is
and
crazy.
Tim Curry plays the most maked up character I think I've ever seen. He's awesome. Like Tim Curry crushes that. Super young Tom Cruise also. Yeah.
This is crazy. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
Legend,
almost
yeah.
like Willow.
It was a lot
It's
like
same-
that in the
same-
same vein,
same
except
era.
it was they were in hell, or
Yeah.
he was trying to take over the light and the dark, and super dramatic, like way dramatic. It was
Cool.
the classic fairy tale, is what it was supposed to be, like all dark and dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you
Tim
have-
Curry just crushes that darkness. This thing, that character is such a.
Do you have any honorable mentions, Aaron?
Underworld Evolution, Underworld Rise of the Lycans, Underworld
Oh my
Awakening. They
Lost
all have
Boys.
Kate Beckinsale. I don't know why you don't want to watch those
Kate
movies.
Beckinsale's a big pick. I picked a movie with Kate Beckinsale.
You did.
Oh, which one?
You picked one movie with Kate Beckinsale, so we're tied for Kate Beckinsale.
She's on my eliminated 5 though, so
Okay.
Pumpkinhead,
I don't have
is
to
that a
limit-
monster
I
movie?
don't have to eliminate my 5.
I know you're just free like a bird.
I know. Do whatever I want. Would you say Pumpkinhead?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
It again, a lot of the ones that I have are like late '80s, mid '80s. It's just a crazy ass monster that lives fucking.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a straight up monster. Comes after people, kills them.
It's like a horror film more than
Yeah.
a monster movie, which is
Mhm.
fine. But
Well, it is a monster.
we'll have to do giant monster movies sometime.
Boogie Nights comes up again for that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Aaron goes 0 for 2 for jokes this week.
It's not my fault. You're a fun-hating dictator of the podcast.
I just think that things should mean what they mean.
Mm.
And I'm willing to fight to the death for that.
Things should mean what they mean. That's good.
You don't know
That's
what
good.
words mean.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we could
refuse.
live in an anarchy society, or we could be reasonable adults. Your
Oh,
choice.
Look at you squashing all the double entendres in the world.
No, I like puns, but
Mm.
there's a difference when you get outside the realm of I'm talking about the movies. Like there's Monsters Inc. is a monster movie. It's like, okay, whatever. I googled movies -monster. Monsters Inc. top of the list. It's obviously a monster movie.
There were like,
Oh, Lord.
This is like the water isn't wet argument all over again.
Speaking of a good pun, we haven't had one of these yet today. Jeremy, what do you call a well-balanced horse? Stable.
Oh,
I was actually pandering to try and find one, so I'm glad you did it.
good job. You got me.
Here, I got one more. You ready?
Mm.
What's the difference between a northern zoo and a southern zoo?
I don't know. What?
Not much. They just have a recipe beside the plaque at the southern zoo.
I'm lost.
Okay. It's because they want you to eat the animals. It's not complicated. It's just,
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Oh, yeah.
That's another one of Brandon's. Don't worry.
Stop.
Oh, wow.
Just don't.
Oh, there's 4 more. They're just gonna rip your spirit out. Like when you hear them, they're
That
so
was-
bad. It's not good. It's really bad.
That was the most flaccid joke I think I have ever
I know,
heard.
right?
Like Boogie Night Flaccid.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, goodbye, everybody.
So dog.
Goodbye.
See ya.